Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you are. And this is a wonderful holiday season that we are in right now. So happy holidays to everyone. My name is Meenakshi Iyer, and I'm the founder and principal of NorthStar Solutions and Services, which is a boutique, future work oriented virtual coaching, training, and consulting practice. And we specifically focus on mid career IT and Agile professionals and help them and support them in their own leadership development journeys, especially at the intersection of people, process, and technology. So I'm really excited to uh, launch this LinkedIn Live space called the NorthStar Café. This is our LinkedIn space specifically focusing on supporting leadership development journeys at the intersection of people, process, and technology. So we we are really happy to launch this today during the holiday season in this year. And today I wanted to spend some time really talking about one of our biggest projects in 2021. So NorthStar Solutions and Services was, I started this in August of 2019 and has pivoted since then and has done a lot of work with technology professionals, mid-career technology professionals from around the world. And Building My Runway was the biggest project that we undertook in 2021. And we hope to continue this every year as an annual program through NorthStar Solutions and Services. So, Building My Runway is a 3-month global virtual mentorship program specifically focused on women professionals in the technology and agile spaces. The idea is to help them figure out their next steps in their career and help them support them in taking their career to the next level. In the first cohort, we had 11 mentees who were paired with one-on-one with mentors from around the world and from different industries. So the whole idea is to have a very holistic program that focused on individual learning and also cohort-based learning. So we had 11 mentor-mentee pairs. And then we also wanted to make sure that the program remained inclusive. So we had all applicants were invited and to join our group sessions. So we had 6 group learning sessions, and then we had one-on-one meetings between the mentors and the mentees, and it was a 3-month program. And if I may say so myself, I think it was wildly successful given the feedback that we've received from our mentors and mentees. And today, it gives me absolute pleasure to have one of the mentor-mentee pairs join us. So here we go. Sudha and Jincy, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Yeah. So if you wouldn't mind, Sudha, if you wouldn't mind talking about introducing yourself a little bit and tell us about how you got to be part of the program and tell us a little bit more about yourself. And then Jincy, if you wouldn't mind following Sudha.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. I'm really excited to connect back again with you and Jincy on this platform. A little bit about myself. I'm from Hyderabad, India. I'm a relationship and communications coach. I'm also a social entrepreneur. I wear multiple hats, but for the purpose of this program, I'm wearing the hat of a mentor. And thanks to Meenakshi, I think this was the first time I was playing the role of a mentor, and I really enjoyed this. And yeah, all excited to talk about what happened and where we are today.
Absolutely. And, I would like to add that Sudha and I met in the virtual world. So we met through a webinar that happened, and then we connected via LinkedIn. And this whole relationship we've never met in person yet. So that, to me, and then this whole program was set up virtually as well, Building My Runway. And so um, the to me, this is evidence, this is proof of how the future of work is shaping up. And it is proof that distances don't matter, and that geographical boundaries really don't matter, and human intent sort of trumps everything. So I just wanted to add that there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Thanks
Oh,
for saying that, Meenakshi, and thanks to LinkedIn, right? That's how we
yes.
got connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jincy, over to you.
Yeah. So, hi Meenakshi, hi Sudha. Thanks for this opportunity. And a little about me. My name is Jincy, and I'm born and brought up in Bombay, working in the IT industry. And if I have to sum up the whole Building My Runway program, I would say it was a twist in my life, a career twist, like how most movie plots have some twist. This came at a time when I really needed it, but I wasn't sure if I was ready for it. But I'm glad I, just took a leap of faith and trusted myself with you and so that, especially when I don't know both of you all ever, it's via LinkedIn that I got to know both of you, and you reaching out to me, Meenakshi, telling me that I was one of the 11 who got selected. So that was one reason I applied. I said, okay, only 11 people, maybe I won't even be on the list. So it's like, oh, all right, And but I'm so glad my life has really changed since this program, and I'm not lying, and it's the truth. And everyone who knows me, they have seen a massive difference in how I was a few months back, and it's been exactly 3 months since uh, I did a role change and I moved to a different role, and my life has changed for better. And I'm more than grateful to both of you all for having had this opportunity. So my heart is all grateful and all love.
Thank you for that, Jincy, and this is so rewarding to hear your experience. And so, actually, you've kind of led us to to my first question that I had for both of you, and I'd love to start with you, Jincy. What does mentorship really mean to you?
Okay. So this was the first time ever that I enrolled for something like this, and I really didn't know what to expect, especially when I didn't know both of y'all, and I was just wondering how is it possible that things will change and Sudha will be able to understand me. So when I started off, I thought Sudha will really direct my life. She would like tell me this is what you need to do, and she will help me take decisions, which I really felt I struggle with. So I think I even mentioned to Sudha once that Sudha, I really struggle with decision making. And but she told me that through the entire program, she was able to guide me in such a way. She helped me bring back the confidence that I never felt I had. And and also I remember at one particular session I was so lost, and that I just didn't know what to do, that I ended up asking Sudha that am I the uh, worst case that she's ever handled. So and I asked her, do I have any hope? So that's how I felt through some parts of the journey. But I really trusted myself. I showed up whenever we had those meetings and group sessions, whenever I could attend, and I just trusted myself and trusted Sudha, and believe that there is more that I can do. And I my whole idea of mentorship was maybe someone coming and telling me what exactly needs to be done, or I kind of aping what they are doing so I can learn. But once I enrolled, it just completely changed my entire opinion and my belief about mentorship. And it was very different from what I expected. And I think it's a tough thing to do, because you want to help the other person without telling them what exactly to do. So I don't know how Sudha did it, but she just nudged me in the right direction and just showed me things I'd never seen in myself before, and just restored the faith and the confidence that I I seem to lack in the last couple of months. So that was how this whole experience was. It's really changed my perspective towards coaching and mentoring. It's just realized that if you really trust your mentor and just give in, there is a whole lot of things that opens up for you. So that's how my journey has been, and how it's been different from what I thought about mentorship and how I think of it now.
Thank you for sharing that. And what stood out for me in that, Jincy, is one is the leap of faith, as you talked about, in just applying for the program, and secondly, you giving your all to the relationship that you built with Sudha as your mentor. Yeah. Sudha, how is it for you? What does mentorship mean to you? Particularly against the background of you being a professional coach, among all the other hats that you wear.
Yes. Um, I still remember, Minachi, when you first asked me about, if I would like to be part of this. I told you coaching is something I'm very familiar with. And, my idea about mentorship was it's actually a relationship between a person who's experienced in a particular domain, helping or guiding another person, probably who is little less experienced in the same domain. And it was all about helping somebody learning a skill, learning probably a new competency, or it was about managing transitions in their career or managing a new role. So I was more looking at it from the professional space, and especially when you told me that this is open for women from the technology and agile space, I used to still remember asking you, but I'm not from that space. So I was having this doubt of, will I be able to really help? Though from a coaching angle, I know that industry experience is not definitely a must. I think today, when I look back after the end of 3 months, right? I think what I am now continuing to believe, in addition to whatever I said earlier, is it's about the person, not so much so about the situation or the industry or the transition they are looking for. I think it's about the person. It's about facilitating the space and time for them to connect with themselves. I think that's what I'm taking back as a possibility of what I did through this mentoring program. And I don't think one needs to be having a domain expert uh, to be mentoring somebody, even if they are coming from a very different space. I think if you're willing to work with a person. I think if you are willing to see the potential in them, I think that's what matters most.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that, Sudha. So I do want to ask you here, given that you are a professional coach and ICF certified coach, what were some of the differences that you experienced between your typical coaching and what happened during this mentoring program?
Yeah, I think the one difference that I would definitely point out is in a coaching, I think very similar to coaching, right? Here, as very nicely Jincy said, she was expecting me to guide and direct and give her solutions. That didn't happen. She got used to the format, right? Like it was more helping her to connect with herself, to help her understand what's important for her at this moment, to help her connect with what's her strength, to help her to realize her potential. I really liked what Jincy said, right? Uh, the moment when she asked me, is there even hope, Sudha, right? And even when she was, uh, offering herself for the program, I think what's important is even in the darkest moments of somebody, they should be able to see the light, right? I think somewhere she did that is what I would because but for it it wouldn't have been possible. In spite of everything seeming so gloomy, she still had that ray of hope in her and in the process,
Right, right.
right? So that was very important. And one starking difference between mentoring and coaching for me is, in mentoring it also helps you to share your stories as a mentor, which can be very what do I say, there can be moments of truth there. There can be some parallels that they can draw. You don't have to tell them but what to do, but they can easily identify what needs to be done when they see some parallels in the story. I think there are moments of vulnerability also for you as a mentor during the program.
Yeah, I so appreciate you sharing that perspective, because a lot, and you're right. A lot of times, even in my own practice, my several of my coaching clients expect me to tell them what to do, and that's not how coaching really works. And that's why for being a coach, you really don't need to be a specific domain expert. Yeah, like you had
Yeah.
said earlier. So that, yes, absolutely. And thanks, Shiv. So Shiv here says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Yes, that I think that was pretty much the case with this program for sure, with Building My Runway, because at the end of the day, people that applied to this program did so of their own free will. And I, maybe a handful of them, a handful of the applicants I knew personally, but most of the mentees, I met them for the first time through the program. And so the application process, it was very very straightforward in that it involved filling out a form, but then the stories that came through the responses in the questions in the application form, that was pretty much it for me to figure out who is the best person that I could match with the mentor pool that I had. And that's the other thing I would do want to call out about the design of this program. Inclusion is one of my core values, and that's also one of the core values for NorthStar. The other piece is the application process. For me, it was not about selecting someone and not selecting someone. At the end of the day, who am I to judge anyone, right? Everyone has had their own journeys and own stories to get to where they are. So for me, the most important aspect was really to see, okay, I do have this uh, group of mentors, the team of mentors, who's the best that I can match with. And if I didn't have a match, then those are the people that were invited to the group sessions. So that was the logic behind this. And this was really sort of like a proof of concept for me. This was the first time I was doing this program on a large scale like this. And some of the learnings for me was included the fact that I think 11 is the max that I would keep the cohort at, probably even smaller than that the next time we run this program. But it also reaffirmed my faith in that mentors always don't need to come from within your same organization. So those were some of the hypotheses that I was trying to sort of disprove, if you will, that you don't need mentors from within your organization. It's good to have, but you don't. It's not a must-have for mentorship to work. And two, you really, like Sudha alluded earlier, you really don't have to be a domain expert. At the end of the day, everything that we're trying to do is based on who we are as human beings, and most of the um, interactions come from that space. And in terms of developing one's leadership skills, especially for those in the mid career segment in the technology space, where you come up to that point based on your hard skills, really, right? So after that, there's that pivot when suddenly you become a people manager, and then that's a whole new skill that nobody really sort of prepares you for. And that's the gap that I wanted to address. So those were a couple of my uh, assumptions that I wanted to sort of disprove, if you will, about mentorship being done from within an organization, and mentorship being mentors having to be from the same space um, that the mentees are. The third thing I also wanted to do was to really have a cross-cultural flavor to this. So we had mentees from the other element, one other element uh, for the mentees was it was also focused on, in addition to being focused on women professionals, mid-career professionals in the technology space, it also particularly focused on those who come from non-English speaking backgrounds, which means they speak English as a second or third language. And that's another aspect that I wanted to address with this program. And we had applicants from I think at least 6 or 7 different countries, and the mentees ended up being from the US, Canada, and India. But almost everyone uh, speaks English as a second or third language. And the same with the mentors. We did have a few native English speakers as mentors, but then largely they also came from non-English speaking backgrounds. And that was the other element that I wanted to bring in. in terms of matching mentors and mentees. So those were some of the pieces. And I know in your case, since we're talking about matching, how did you both feel about, like, what do you remember from your first conversation?
Sudha, you want to go first?
Yeah, in a way, Meenakshi, though I know that you had your own logic as to how you matched the mentor and mentee. I think to me, not in the first conversation, I would say, but probably the second or third, if I remember. I think I felt that I attracted Jincy into my life at this point in time, right? I think what she was reflecting was certain aspects that I have in me, certain things that I'm dealing with in my life at different points in time, right? So I felt that this is an opportunity where I'm not just mentoring her, I'm also mentoring myself in the process.
Mm.
That's a thought I still very well remember. And I think me and Jincy spoke about it. We need to check with Meenakshi. What was the process? How did she connect you and me? Uh, right? We found a lot of
Yes.
things very common in us.
Mm. Yes, a lot of things in common. In fact, so that for you it didn't happen in the first meeting, but for me, right from the first time we spoke, I remember I was in the car and I was like, "Oh my God, this Sudha has already lived the life that I'm living," and I kept wondering how did this miracle happen? How did Meenakshi so aptly pair me with Sudha? And both of our lives seemed very similar. Our goals, our personalities, in the sense both of us wanted to help people, and there was a lot of similarity. I mean, I just don't know how, Meenakshi, I still can't believe that a form gave such deep insights about both of us, but you matched us perfectly. And I thought I was the only one who got lucky, but in certain sessions where other mentees also spoke, I think even they said it out loud and clear that I couldn't have got a better mentor. You really matched all of us, just like a jigsaw puzzle. I still don't know how, and I really don't believe like a form can give you that level of insight. But it was just perfect. Remarkable. And like you said, Sudha is not even from my kind of work that I do, and in spite of that, she being able to understand what I was going through and help me out of that was something amazing. I don't think that, since both of y'all are talking about it, I don't think I would have found a better mentor if I had looked into my own organization or in the same line of work that I am. So
Mm.
whatever you did was just brilliant. It was just amazing, Meenakshi.
Thank you. And that's so heartwarming for me to hear. And I will say this, that, my own career has been absolutely nonlinear, absolutely interdisciplinary. And it's not until about 4 or 5 years ago that I really started owning my story. Until then, I had a very critical view of my own experience because I've had to change jobs primarily due to circumstances outside of my control. And then, I'm a recruiter's nightmare if they look at my resume, because they don't know what to do with it, where to put me. I don't fit into any box really. And but I realized that it's that interdisciplinary experience that has allowed me to um really hone my skill around connecting the dots, connecting people and ideas. And so that was an aspect that I kept in mind when I did the matching as well and the whole program design. I will say though that yes, a form can convey a lot. Words are powerful. That's another thing I learned. And
So,
of course, looking at your LinkedIn profile, that helped.
mm,
And the other piece is and this is why I really think that 11 would be my maximum number in terms of the size of the cohort, because I did make sure that the mentors that I brought in, they're all personally known to me. And
mhm,
so there's at least one part of the puzzle that I know well, in the sense that,
mhm,
okay, I know the mentors personally. So that sort of helped me in making the matches. um, and it's also about the individual's background, and then of course a lot of gut is involved in this. I'd be lying if I didn't admit that. um, And my own experience, having been in other formal mentorship programs and where this sort of a process is followed, um, with the opportunity for the mentees or the mentors to say, well, looks like this is not the right match, and so that out is always there, built within the process. So that was something that was also that I decided to make available to the program participants as well. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was a grand experiment, and I didn't know what to expect. The only I don't know if Sudha, you remember or not, when I got together with the mentors and we did a prep session before the program kickoff. I said, at this point, I don't even know if I'll have 11 applicants. So, worst case scenario, good to meet you all and enjoy the rest of the time. So, I was prepared to not have this program at all as well. So, um, yeah, so Shiv here says, yeah, it depends on the questions in the form, and you're right, Shiv. So there it was, and my own coach experience helped me build a form, and to me it was also, there were people that took the time to complete the form appropriately, and there were people that didn't. So that also tells me how invested someone is. At least that was one indicator, right? And plus, it really didn't permit me to do a proper match if I didn't have enough information about the mentees, right? Because I know the mentors very well. So anyway, this is really, it's I feel like I'm getting a peek into the interactions that the two of you have had as a mentor-mentee pair. So let me ask you this: what was of most value to you? And Jincy, I'd like for you to go first. What was of most value to you from this program?
So when I started, I was at a point in life, especially in my career, where I thought I am the problem, and I thought this is it. There is nothing, uh, you know, nothing that can go beyond what I'm doing right now. And but this whole program helped me change my perspective, and it also made me realize my true strengths, and that I should own up my story, like what you said, Meenakshi. I think it's very important. And it also made kind of gave me some courage. Like I remember at one point of time, Sudha wanted me to you know walk into the lion's den, if I could use that proverb. And for a minute, I was thinking, is she crazy? She knows everything that I've told her, and in spite of that, she's asking me to walk into the lion's den. But I did that because I trusted her, and I thought if she could see that this is something that I could do, I learned to trust myself. So, like Sudha already said, a lot of this mentoring and coaching was, just helped me build a connection with myself, which I think was lacking. So it really made me realize that unless I take action, nothing is going to work. Sudha was able to nudge me and point things to me which were not very clear. So it just opened up my eyes, if I can say so. So that was one value. I really just started looking at myself the way I am, and not how someone is expecting me to be. So that was one thing that I truly treasure from this program that we had.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Jincy, and that's very powerful. Like especially when you said learning to connect with yourself, that being a big takeaway. Thank you. Sudha, what about you? How was it for you?
I think the most valuable part for me, or I would say that it's just witnessing Jincy moving from a limiting self, the transition from a limiting self to a potential self, right? I kept witnessing it in every session, the change in her self talk, the change in her energies, the change in the body language, the change in the words that she used. Uh, it was a beautiful transition for me to witness, and it was also a kind of revalidation for me in the work I do, right? It was like, telling me, wow, this is worth every bit. I think that was the most valuable part for me, to just to witness her transformation.
Mm, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the joy that us as coaches and mentors have.
Yes.
Being, it's a position of privilege to be a
Yeah.
witness to transformations. Absolutely. So go ahead, Sudha. You wanted to say something?
I just, I literally saw her coming alive, uh, because that's why I mentioned, right, including the body language, everything, the first session to the last, I could clearly see the true Jincy coming alive, right? Her true self, somebody who's really pleased with herself at that moment, somebody who's really feeling confident about herself. That was magical for me to witness.
That's fantastic. And that actually kind of I missed asking this earlier. Jincy, please share your change maker story with us.
The book, you mean?
Yeah, and also the work that you
Okay,
did. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. I had to go to your LinkedIn profile to dig it out.
okay. So, yeah, all through my life, I mean, I don't know from where I got this idea, but a big motto that I've always lived up and looked up to was making the world a better place. And right from my childhood, I really don't know from that from where that idea got stuck into my head, but that was something that I always wanted to do. And I all through my life, in small ways, I've tried and done that. But something very big happened in 2017 when I was expecting my first child, and I realized that maternity leave is only for 3 months for people like me who are in the organized sector, in private sectors. So that's when I realized that 3 months is it's a very small time, especially for people who live in nuclear families. And I knew that government employees have up to 6 months and maybe 1 year, and also I think around up to 18 years of age, the child turns 18, they have childcare leave, etc. And I thought it was not fair, and I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to just sit and wait for things to change. And out of an impulse, I started a campaign asking the government to increase the maternity leave from 3 months to 6 months. And it was not an easy journey. I never thought anything will come out of it, but that again, a leap of faith that I took in I think it was in October 2016. Yeah, 2016 was when I realized I was expecting, and I gave birth in 2017. So in October 2016, when I was almost 4 months pregnant, I started a petition. And a few months later, it's a very long story, if I have to say. There was a lot of persistence and not giving up uh, attitude that I had to, display at all the time. But uh, the law was changed. It became 6 months uh, after my baby was born. But something that never happened very often in Indian law was there was a retrospective aspect as well, which was added to the law. And I was able to get 6 months of paid maternity leave for my child. So this making this world a better place, it just it I'm not getting the word, but it just multiplied and amplified to a much bigger thing that I no, than I ever expected. And since then, there's no looking back. That campaign allowed me to connect with a community of women change makers in India via She Creates Change and change.org. And since then, all of us have been doing our bits to make the society a better place. It's let me work with NGOs like HEAL, which is Help Eradicate Abuse Through Learning, which works for prevention of child sexual abuse in children. And so it's just like, like how Sudha said, she attracted me. I think I attracted this tribe of people, and I just got a bigger forum to do whatever I want to do. And as a part of it, a book called Change Makers was released in October this year. It's based on the lives of 11 change makers in India, all women who have made some sort of change in society, and by just not giving up and fighting for the rights that they believe they or the society should have. So that's how something I never expected, honestly, when I started that campaign when I was pregnant, to have such a beautiful turn. But yeah, that's another thing that happened to me in October this year, along with Building My Runway. So both have been life changing. I mean, this Building My Runway has been truly life changing. The book, yes, it's good to be immortalized in the form of a book, but more than that, I mean, as Sudha was talking and sharing about me, I had tears in my eyes. My eyes really welled up because that's how my life has transformed, and I can never be grateful enough to this program. I mean, it's just the best thing that's happened to me, not just this year, but I think in my whole entire IT career. I think this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I mean, I don't know where I would be today if it was not for this program. Definitely much worse than what I'm doing now, but this has been an amazing journey, Meenakshi. I cannot put into words how grateful I am.
Absolutely. And when the universe conspires,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's all I can think of at the moment.
Uh, yeah, and I wanted to say this. I mean, I don't know the Indian horoscope that well, but I think all our gunas matched. I think 36 is the gunas, and Sudha's and mine was a perfect 36 or whatever that number is. That's the match made. So yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Mm.
great.
Right.
When you said the universe conspires, right? I was just reminded of this. I think it's a Subhashitani, it's a shloka. It says, Udyamam sahasam dhairyam buddhi shakti parakramah yatra vartante tatra devaha sahayakrita. What it actually
Mm,
means is um, Udyamam, I think, where effort, courage, perseverance, resource, all of this exists. This Shat Gunaha, they say, the
mm.
six gunas, where it is there, when you said universe, I'm just replacing the word here, the Devaha, God makes makes it happen.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And it's such a powerful story listening to your story, Jincy, especially on the maternity leave, right? Um, and this is also a great testimony. There's a saying, right? They say that courage is not in the absence of fear, it is in spite of fear.
Sophia.
I'm just drawing a parallel here. Faith, belief, and hope is not in the absence of self doubt, but in spite of self
Mm,
doubt, you
Mm,
still move
true.
ahead. And I think yours is such a story.
how beautifully put.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, I will tell you, I could not be happier and feel more privileged that we're having this conversation right around as we are at the threshold of a new year. And there are so many thoughts and plans that people walk into a new year with. And this holiday season has been particularly rough for several of us. So it's not the same. It's nothing like we've seen before, at least for our generation. And so, just hearing you both talk about your own experiences, and so the shloka that you shared could not be more apt. Also, from a timing perspective for our conversation. Yeah. I just wanted to sort of start winding up our conversation, and I wanted to ask you both as to were there any surprises along the way for yourself that you learned about yourself? Did you learn something new about yourself?
I think, to be very honest, Meenakshi, I think I did not expect the impact that I can create on someone like this,
Mm.
right? But just being true to myself and doing what I'm good at, uh, this really surprised. The level of impact, the level of change that can be brought about was a big surprise for me. Though I know it, right? Like, being a coach, I have witnessed this many times. But I think what this proved to me is in a very short span, right? In a very
Mm.
short span of 3 months and just 6 sessions. Uh, I think it was really magical to see, and especially when you get a mentee like Jincy, who's fully invested into it. It's like, paisa vasool that they say, right, in Hindi.
Bang for
Both
the
for both of
buck.
us, yeah, for both of us, right? Like you feel really nice at the end of it. Yeah, this happened.
Right.
Mm.
So
Right.
yeah, and it kind of really motivated me when I even shared this in the feedback form with you, right? I just told myself, Sudha, you should do more of this. Don't hold yourself back.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
fantastic. Thank you. And Jinsi, how about you? Any surprises
Yeah.
along the way?
Of course, so many. I mean, honestly, when I started, I was like 3 months, and that too, we didn't even meet every weekend. So for me, I was like, what can happen in 3 months? Some companies have notice period of 3 months, or a training period of 3 months. What extraordinary thing is going to happen to me? So I was very skeptical, but the biggest surprise, my whole career track changed. I mean,
Yes.
never ever. And that too without any certification. And there are people with certification who are still not getting that role. And look at me, no certification. Never in my wildest dream did I think that I would get into this new role of a scrum master. That was never in my list of to dos. But Sudha just opened up an aspect that this new idea, and like you said, everything just fell into place. The personality test I did, and then I looked at myself and I'm like, oh my god, this looks like a scrum master. It looks like I should be doing this and not what I'm doing right now. I should move to this. And then at that time there was coincidentally an opportunity in the company for a scrum master, and though I didn't have any certification or an experience, I took. So it was just full of surprises. And even people are like, oh my God, when did you become? Did you do your certification? And I'm like, no, 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 I've not done any of it. I just, it just, and I've been recommending people since then that, you should, if you get a chance, you should go for coaching. If you're feeling stuck, please do. It just changes it. And it's like, I know there are a lot of programs which run saying this is going to change your life and this and that, but this has truly been transformational. If it was not for this, I don't think I would have ever even thought this idea would have even been planted in my head that, Jinzy, this is something that you can do and you should do, because that aligns to what you truly are, your personality and your life goals. So this has been a whole surprise. I mean, I never expected. I thought I'll get better at what I was doing, but no, I just ended up doing something very new, and it's been 3 months. It's been an amazing journey. So much that I usually take, holidays at the end of the year. Even if I'm not going anywhere, I just like to take a break. But I'm working nonstop. I thought I'll take leave tomorrow and day after, but I'm like, it's okay. Work is fun. I might as well just, work. So that's how great it has been. And I think this is the first time in a long time that I'm working on during Christmas and
During
New
the
Year.
holiday.
So
Right.
yeah, I've cancelled my leave. I'm working. So that's how amazing it has been for me.
Wow.
wow.
Yes, that's just a testimony to what you chose to do, Jincy, and the chances that you chose to take, and the courage that
Yes.
you chose to sort of deploy. Yeah. So that any what's coming up for you?
When I'm listening to Jincy, right, they say that if you love what you do, you don't have to work, they
What?
say,
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
right? That's what
Absolutely.
is happening.
Absolutely. And yeah, and for me, uh, what's coming up for me is that I never anticipated the level of impact. So that's same like you. Um, for me, it was and I've shared this in the program launch conversations that we've had. This whole program originated from the annual Future of Work conference that we do through NorthStar. And this year in 2021, we co-hosted it with another small woman-owned small business in the U.S. And Tiffany, the CEO and founder of Suffer, Tiffany and I, we co-hosted it, and we tied it to the International Women's Day event. And this whole program originated from that as okay, what am I doing as a pay it forward? So that was the whole intention. So I really didn't know what this would shape up as, and so I'm an lean agile human centered design practitioner. So I decided to put all the principles to use to see what comes up. And I can't even begin to tell you how blown away I am with what's transpired, and it's only motivated me and inspired me even more to continue to do this in the coming years as well. So this has been absolutely fantastic. So Shiv here says maybe the program should be called Building Change Makers. I'll consider it. Yeah. Thank you for that, Shiv. Um, all right. So, any parting thoughts for those who are watching right now, and for those who will catch the replay later? Jincy?
So first of all, I want to acknowledge your effort, Meenakshi and Sudha. Please don't stop. I really, I mean, the impact you've created is massive. And I may be just one person you mentored, but the changes that this program brought along has impacted my life and the people around me as well. Because the better you are at, it, to yourself or your true nature, the better you are to people around you as well. So it might be just one person you mentored, but the impact is just I don't think you can actually ever sit and calculate it. So please continue doing this. You both of you all have a lot more to give, and you have my best wishes for that. Really grateful. And one thing that I would like to tell to anyone who's watching and who's sitting on the fence on coaching and mentorship, uh, please don't think, is this worth it? What can happen in 3 months? A lot can happen in 3 months. Trust me when I say that, because I have personally experienced it, and I was honestly very doubtful about and skeptical before I joined, but it's been amazing. I would recommend to everyone, especially women, because we really don't have a lot of mentors. We don't have people we can look up to. So please take any opportunity you get, and especially if it's with Meenakshi and Sudha, please go on. They are just amazing people. It's difficult to say that, to believe that I've not met you all. It looks like I know you all from ages, and I'm really grateful. And to everyone who's watching, please, especially women, don't stop. Sign up for something like this. It's really life changing. And it's just not my story. I mean, I know it's just Sudha and me on this call today, on this meeting today, but I think every every mentee who was part of the program had something extraordinary to share. So I thought I'm the only one who got lucky and had a transformation, but I realized every other mentee also had a similar story. So it's not just a fluke or anything that happened by chance with me. It's something that everyone else experienced as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Jincy, and that's a good call out too. So we hope to bring the other participants in future
Yes.
conversations at the NorthStar Café. So
You should.
this was
You
just a
should.
launch. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Sudha.
And thank you so much, Meenakshi, for this LinkedIn Live today. I think it also helps me to end the year on a very high note. Uh,
Yes.
right? I think just uh, walking the memory lane of this 3 months and then sharing it here aloud, fantastic. And I think I'm walking. I think I already expressed this to Meenakshi earlier, but I think I would like to call it out aloud once more. I'm sure Meenakshi is going to offer more programs in 2022, and I'm there. I've already volunteered to
Yes.
mentor more people. So, people who are watching, so please do sign up. Let's have an exciting journey.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sudha and Jincy. It's been such a pleasure, and you're absolutely right, Sudha. We have talked about this. I was wondering about the timing of the launch of NorthStar's LinkedIn, the NorthStar Cafe, and I did think that uh, I was like, even if people are not able to watch it live, people can catch the recording later, the replay later. And I thought the same thing, that Building My Runway has been like a flagship project at North Star this year, and I did not want to lose the opportunity of celebrating that, or at least starting the celebration around it in the same year. So thank you so much for both, for your time and for accommodating the schedule for today. And everyone that's watching and that'll catch the replay, really wishing you a very, very peaceful and meaningful 2022. The past several months and a couple of years have been particularly challenging for almost all of us on different levels. We're all facing all kinds of loss, and we're grieving it. And so, just want to take a moment to acknowledge that. And my wish, and from North Star, our wish is really that we all find ways to connect back with what's really important in our lives as human beings, and also take into consideration our whole ecosystem, including our planet. So, with that, once again, thank you everyone for being here today, and look forward to catching up with all of you again in the new year. So, once again, thank you very much, and best wishes for a fantastic 2022. Take care, everyone. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. I just wanted to say North Star has truly been my North Star, Meenakshi.
I'll use
Ah,
that as a tagline.
yes. And in a way, if you see this program, Building My Runway, is built the runway for all the three of
Yes,
us in its own
yes,
way.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh my
yes,
God.
yes, it
I
has.
should, like, such wonderful wordsmiths.
Yes.
Well, on that fantastic note, thanks everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.